I don't know you, but on me, this video giving the chills all the time. So everyone, welcome to one more warm up. We are on day 5 of October, and we are going to have a nice talk today. A lot of nice talks actually. So today I'm going to invite someone very special and very intelligent who's going to talk to us about VR. Wow, pretty complex subject. Please come to the stage, Alexandre.
Thank you. Thank you
Hello.
again for having me. Hi.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
My second time working with Game Jam. Last year was part of the jury, I guess. Not sure if that's the word, but it was a very nice experience. I'm really happy to be part of this project, and I wish you lots of luck for the next years because I've been seeing you growing, and it's quite a nice project.
You are
So,
awesome. Thank you for being with us.
I'm happy to be here and talking about VR. That's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. I have this presentation. I could start with the presentation and start the talk.
Okay. I'll leave the stage to you. Have a nice talk. And everyone, please remember the registrations for Green Gym Plus are open. It's going to happen on this weekend from 8th to 10th of October. Learn whatever you have to learn from him. He's the best. He's the man. And that's it. See you later.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And again, thank you for inviting me. I'm here to talk about VR, talk a little about my history, how I started, how I got into VR, and what the Brazilian market is like. I bet there are some Brazilians watching this. Unfortunately, I know some people won't be able to understand because it's in English. But hopefully, you'll be able to get some of the tips. I have something written on the presentation, which should be made make it easier for you to get. Um, I'm talking about my history here, and at the same time, I'll be talking about the Brazilian XR market, which is quite a thing. So a little about me. Let's move on here. So how I got started in VR? Actually, I have worked as an English teacher for 10, 12 years. I have my graduation. I got my degree in literature. In Portuguese, we say letras. That's where I came from, surprisingly. But back to 2012, almost 10 years now, that's when I first heard about VR, when Oculus had their Kickstarter with Palmer Luckey announcing his project. Since then, I've been following very closely all the news, all the progress of the technology. What happened is, as because I want to, be very close to what was going on, I decided to get on groups on Facebook. Really, my first approach with the groups on Facebook, and there I start sharing what I had as news and articles, and I got a lot of views, and people started following me, and started to grow. This community started growing until they invited me to be the administrator of one of these communities. Because of that, I focused all my work, all my research, my sharing on this one community, virtual reality. You can see on the screen. And because of that, this community grew a lot. We became the first and the biggest XR community on Facebook, which is a big thing. Today, we have over 50,000 people, um, or profiles, you prefer to name that the way you like. But pretty much, virtual reality is today the largest XR community on Facebook, and I'm still the administrator and the curator. So I got also other communities that I started, and with that, I got a lot of visibility across the world, across the globe, and I started being invited to be in events, be part of be a member of the jury. So that's where I got my visibility. So that's how I learned about VR, not just about the technology, the technical aspects, but also how this technology was progressing, and I could see where the big techs were going, what they were saying, And because I come from, language analysis and all that, I could somehow, I don't know, really understand what they were saying. So everything they were saying, announcing, the way they were saying or naming things, I could predict where they could go or what they were supposed to do. It was a very interesting um, beginning for me. Because of this visibility, I managed to be invited by Facebook to go and visit them. It was my first time in the US. That was back in 2018. And at the same time, I was at the Oculus Connect 5, which was a very good experience. I went to Oculus Connect, and at the same time, we had this private event on Facebook or at Facebook where we could visit the Facebook Spaces department, which it doesn't exist anymore. It became Horizon, which is an experience Oculus is offering or developing at the moment. So yeah, there was really cool. I could meet many members from the community I was administrating, or I am administrating because I'm still on it. But yeah, I had the chance to get Oculus Quest 1 firsthand, experience it, and before launch, it was great. The event was big, lots of professionals. I managed to meet people I really admire, like Norman. He's someone that makes really, really good reviews. I recommend following him on YouTube. He has the Test channel. He was one of the guys I really like listening to. So being part of the community, being visible to many people, gave me a lot of new opportunities. So, but still, I wasn't part of the market, the VR market. I start really getting there when I went to Switzerland. I was invited to be a member of the jury in 2016 on the first edition of the World XR Forum. And for the following years, 2017, special guest. And then I was happy to be the ambassador and senior constant representing Brazil in Switzerland. So I was there to present what was going on in Brazil in 2018, and people let people know that we were growing, we were really passionate about the technology. And of course, I started really thinking how I could really get into market. But that just in 2016, I really gave my first step in the market. But we'll talk about that later on. And then later on, again, after a few years, I was in VR Days in Amsterdam. By the way, VR Days, it's another very important event or festival that takes place every year. If you want to know, learn about VR. And if you think, oh, I'm Brazil, I'm not going to Amsterdam or anything like that, this year, me and Ana Ruda and XRBR, we are producing VR Days in Brazil. That's beautiful. But it's a virtual event. We will have the satellite. It's a really small portion of the festival. So for you viewers who are, willing to get to know VR a little more, VR Days is a very good festival to be part of. And if you want to have more information, you can follow XRBR Association that we'll talk about very soon. There you will have the link. It's a free event. You have the option to pay to get access to special features they will have. But yeah, VR Days is going worldwide with their virtual event. It's going to be very special. It's taking place this year in November. Well, that was me trying some headsets that were released in 2017. I managed to go to China, and so that I could learn a little bit about the Chinese market. It was a very short period, but very special as well. These are some friends of mine who we were working in a foundation together, which didn't take off. But anyway, going to China, see what they were doing with VR was fantastic. So yeah, and that was how I really started. I got into really learning about technology, got visible, got noticeable through the communities. Um, and then, with all the know-how I had to do something with that. I gave up with my career of teaching, and I started working in VR, 100% in VR in 2016. That's when I started my company VRXP. Um, One of my biggest works started in 2016 with Anima Mundi, which is a festival, the largest animation festival in Latin America. And they did 3 editions using VR, and I was responsible or in charge of all these editions. So every time they used VR, I was there to help them make it happen. In 2019, as you can see in this picture, is when we had the biggest approach with the largest number of attendees. It was really beautiful. Very nice space with this edition, especially. We had over 15 works, films. We had 5,000 people in 5 days of exhibition. I know I was receiving people, one person every minute. It was crazy. Very crazy. Very nice place and very nice people to work with as well. And then I start progressing this production side of things. So coming from teaching, English teaching, to producing festivals, producing events, and starting with the big clients. Starting with Anima Mundi. Who ever guessed that? And then I came with uh, Global Play was my first client in Comic Con. So I was responsible for setting up the Disalma VR experience. It was their first approach with VR, Global Play, at Comic Con. That was in 2018. And it was just me. My company is just me. I don't have employees. So I had to do everything. I had to travel, plan all my trip, and uh, really get all the hardware together, and do all the technical stuff, being there, planning and executing, and just being there all the time if anything would go wrong. It was really cool. You can see how many people were there. It was very successful. I was really happy with this project. After that, I went to Rock in Rio as well, working for Globo. There was a small project there. They were showing live shows on the headsets. I didn't put the pictures, but yeah, 19 before the pandemics was fantastic. Lots of festivals going on, and I was really growing as a company, as a professional. But what's important here is if anyone is considering getting VR today, it's important to understand that VR has so many opportunities, so many different types of work you can do. Me, someone who didn't really know what I could do, I started producing and then I started developing experiences, which is something I do right now. Today, in short, I call myself a product manager, and with a big focus on UX. It's something I love about, specifically for XR. That's something I do, and I'll mention a few examples of those works. And executive production or producer, that's what I've been doing for these festivals. So these two things are my main lines of service. Um, but that's all in Brazil, right? I will get in there when we discuss what the challenges are for Brazilian people, because not everyone can go through this path, of course. I was there at the very beginning when no one really cared about the technology, so I got some advantages, of course. But considering Brazil, I understood that we had to have people together because our country is too large. We have a big concentration of workers in São Paulo and Rio, but other states, people are really starting to get in VR. They don't know where to start, or they don't have the professionals so they can help them. So I thought being part of an association or having this association, it would be the right step to make the Brazilian quality in terms of service, works, increase, and we have a very hard standard, very high standard. And association is the way to go. So I co-founded the XRBR Association. You can easily find on the website xrbr.com.br. I will have the link at the end. With the association, we can have these people, this big network, people sharing knowledge, experiences, contacts. You can get notes, you can see, you can be heard, you can be a small professional, but you can be among the big players in the country. This is very special. So that's why I care a lot about the association. I co-founded it. I worked as it's all voluntary work. We don't get paid for this. It's a non-profit association, and I was member of the board since the beginning. Today, I'm the administrative director. Um, we started in 2018. So XRBR is the main player in Brazil at building this community of professionals. It plays the role of mapping the local market. That means we will know where people are, what they're doing, who these professionals are. This is really is important as a country so that we know where we are going and where or who needs help to grow, or all that. And this it's just this community, these people working together that can do it. And association, again, is the way to go. And it also, the association is responsible for exploring these new opportunities for Brazil. Like, when we talk about new opportunities, I mean partnerships with the government, making the government understand the VR or the XR industry is something that's going to grow a lot, and we need some special attention at this start, like getting access to hardware and all that. And we need a big voice. To have a big voice, we need to have this strong community. Again, XRBR, there's something I really care about, and I believe is going to help the Brazilian market to grow and mature. When we talk about Brazilian market, I don't have the exact numbers like I'm saying in the title, and there's a reason, of course. When we think of the Brazilian market, we need to have in mind that it's as recent as anywhere else. XR market is something that really started in a solid way 6 years ago in 2016, when the first headsets were released, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive. We had some other headsets before, but the market with the new headset really started in 2016. That's where people really got the headsets in hands, and they were trying it and learning about it and developing new things. So the XR market in general is really new. So the same in Brazil, but here we have this blurry, imprecise mapping. We don't know how large our market is, how many professionals exactly we have, and which states or cities are struggling with the VR locally. We need this information. We need this data. We don't have that. We have very few professionals and academics collecting these data. But these very few are awesome. These people are awesome, and they are doing a very good job. But I believe we need more people collecting this data so that we can understand where we're struggling, what's stopping us from growing. Um, and the association is one big player working on this, but we need more of that. So I don't have the numbers. I can't say how many companies we have, how many professionals we have. It's all blurry. It's not precise. That's something that, if we're thinking of the VR market in Brazil, you will have. It's important to have that in mind. An investor, if there's an investor watching this, it is important that they understand this is also an opportunity for them, because they will easily identify the companies that are standing out, or they are set up for to be invested in. So what is known about the VR market in Brazil, or the XR market in Brazil? We are restricted by the hardware importation taxes and prices. This is something traditionally Brazilian, unfortunately. But at the same time, we have these heroes that really bring the headsets to the country and help to really give access to people to the hardware. This is how we've been doing for many years in many other types of the industry. The lack of official distribution here from by the big brands, that means they don't really sell to Brazil directly. If you go to Oculus website, you won't see Brazil mapped there. If you go to a HTC Vive website, you won't see Latin or South America mapped there as a country where they provide their services. It doesn't mean that you can't buy, like if you go on Amazon, you can just buy the headset, pay the taxes, but it doesn't mean you will have their services. If you want to send it back, if it's broken some way, your headset, it's not that easy to send to the US, wait, and then get one back. It's not that simple. So we need that. We need these big brands really saying now we sell or we provide our services to Brazil. We don't have that yet. Lack of professionals with know-how in XR, it's something that we've been struggling. If you're a new company and you want to find professionals, very likely you will hire someone who knows how to program or develop experiences, but they they don't know the particulars. They don't know the details about VR they have to have in mind. They will have to go past the learning curve, which is fine. But that's where we are now. We don't have these people saying, I am the XR programmer that will fix all the problems and then understand what the user will face. No, we're going to probably have to hire someone that knows programming, but it doesn't know about VR, and they will have to learn everything from scratch. Um, the big companies here, the more structured companies, they have hired people who already know about VR. So yeah, that's pretty much what we face now. Mostly made of studios, companies that have XR as a new type of service. That means there's a lot of companies coming from audio visual, um, this field that's very popular in Brazil. Companies that have always worked with films and other types of media, and then now they offer VR as another type of service. They don't work. They're not a company that work 100% of with VR or XR. They work with other media and they provide XR as an alternative, something innovative. So that's that happens a lot in Brazil. Very few companies work 100% with XR. The new trend is to offer traditional service as well. So even if these companies that have been working 100% with XR, they have to have a plan B. Like sometimes XR stops growing, and then they have to offer the traditional service. Then now they do mobile gaming, which is fine. Is the way to keep the money flowing and survive in this market. Mainly now with the pandemics, which is the case now. Pandemics has severely affected the local industry. Myself, I have a very good example. I came from 19, as you could see in my profile. I had a lot of work, and on the same year, I did Comic Con, Rock in Rio for Global Play, Anima Mundi, and Pixel Festival, all in the same year. So from 19 to 2020, last year, um, I had 95% of cut of services provided by my company. Which was I almost stopped last year. Um, so yeah, that was the pandemics. Most of when you talk about XR, VR, you work in presentially. You have to be there with the people. You have to put the headset on people. So these 2 years have been really hard for our industry. Well, there's a positive side of things. It's also known that the whole market growth here is noticeable. You can see that since 2016, lots of people, lots of professionals and companies are popping up everywhere. So every time I hear someone, oh, I have this startup, we're working with VR, we want to buy headsets. It's almost every month I hear someone new get into the industry, which is brilliant. and this is gonna be growing even more for the next years. Now that pandemic is, you know, getting out of here at some point. I don't know. Hopefully next year. So things are getting positive in these terms. And also something I have to mention is there are projects being funded by the government every year as well. I have to give this example in São Paulo State. They have done this for 3 years now, I think, with PROAC. PROAC has been very important to professionals and companies who want to get their own experience funded, and so that they can actually start working with the technology in a proper way. And only this year, over 100 applications have been shown on the PROAC um, lists of projects. So there were over 100 companies, 100 projects in one of their open calls. It's amazing. And I have good news because today, right now, we have the results of this PROAC in São Paulo. And I think 16, I'm not sure how many projects, but probably 16 projects were approved. And I had one that was approved. We got the third position with 97. That was our score. I'm co-producing with Studio Co in Rio. It's amazing. So we got a project last year approved in the first place, and this year in the third place. It's amazing. So we have two experiences we're going to show next year. It's amazing. And I'm going to develop this experience with them as a UX designer and all that. We are definitely passionate about technology. We are enthusiastic about making the difference and breaking the barriers. So these people who love the technology, they find ways to show the technology to other people. They want to put the headset in everyone because they love it and they want other people to get it to know the technology. It's just the way we are. We feel passionate about it and we want to share it with other people. That's one thing that has the market and the interest of people grow in our country. And of course, consequently, we have full opportunities ahead. But what does that mean exactly? So you only hear opportunities ahead. Well, today you could say that you heard metaverse. I have my own opinion on metaverse, which I'm sharing the next screen. It's a buzzword, but what is that all about? So metaverse was mentioned by Mark. Seems to this word seems to be a breath of fresh air for the XR industry. So what does that mean? Well, since 2016, after the first headsets came out, other headsets came out. Quest 2, which is this headset here, you can see the box in the corner, but I also have it in my hand. This small headset here, lightweight, wireless, just brilliant. This was a very big player to make VR accessible and get to people all over the globe, mainly in Brazil. Like this being sold so much, it's a success in sales, and in Brazil, people are buying it like crazy because it's the cheapest headset they have had and possibly the best. So that's the perfect combination. When I say cheapest, I mean for um, headsets that are wireless and then they are 6 dove, like degrees of freedom, so that you can move around while playing VR and not just sit and look around, because that's with the Oculus Go 3DOF. This is 6DOF. It's amazing. So the price is much better. So that's really an improvement for the accessibility. And that's what is making VR even more popular. And that matters in many ways. But once they have released this headset, uh, people will start wondering what's next? What's next? They will probably release a new headset, a year after year, but there's something else that needs to show what's really next for the XR market in general. You can just rely on releasing new headsets every year, like mobile phones or consoles. It's the same thing. Like is the console with better specs and new games. That's the combination. But with XR, there was that vibe, the hype that they probably realized that it's going down a little bit. So this fresh air for the XR industry is when they mention metaverse. Metaverse is the next goal, is the next product we want to reach. So that's the fresh air is that was going to boost the XR market for the next years. That is an opportunity for everyone. It is marketing, pure marketing, mainly now. There's no metaverse now. It's going to be, you can discuss what metaverse is. We'll have one metaverse, several. What is who's going to own the metaverse? Is going to be centralized, decentralized? I have my opinion on this. I'm not discussing metaverse on my own here, but what I think it's important people to realize is that because they mentioned metaverse, that means we have something more to go after, which means the industry, the XR industry, will have a longer life. It's gonna last for more years. We're gonna have this word. We're gonna hear this word a lot, and investors will have more reasons to invest in XR. In metaverse, we're gonna sell more. We're gonna have better experiences. You're gonna have the life you have never had. That's the dream to go after, to seek. That gives more energy to the XR industry. Consequently, we will have possibly more jobs, more people getting to VR, and a bigger involvement of the community. At this very moment they have announced this, there was some buzz there, some hype, and what is important is that we are in the again it's the same discussion, same discourse. We are the early stages of the metaverse. So all the people involved with this now will be the builders of the metaverse. Being the builder means professionals like designers, community managers, programmers, engineers, all that. Again, we will have another reason to keep working on this. That's going to be opportunities. What about the Brazilian people? How can they get involved in this? Well, time will tell. I don't have the answer now, but yeah, that's quite important for the XR industry. At the moment, I don't care about metaverse, but it's important so that you follow these as I followed the progress of the VR hardware um, back then. So, how'd you get into the Brazilian XR market trends? So, if you're here listening to this live, thank you. And if you want more information, how can you get started in VR? In VR, how or if you are in VR, how can you know have more sources of information or contacts in Brazil? So first, follow the Brazilian XR Association, XRBR. Not just follow, be a member. You have to be part of this. You have to be in contact with this network. It's the best you can have is this network. Um, the links are in my presentation. I'll leave my presentation for everyone to access and read carefully. And you can click on these links. But XRBR is pretty much xrbr.com.dpr. You will get into it. You can follow the Brazil VR Facebook group. It's a group where Brazilians are there, and then you can understand what's going on, what people care about, the problems they're having. That's a good way of reading the what's going on in VR in Brazil. There's also this page. It's recent, but it's a good friend of mine, Bruno Pato, that has started, and he has done a very good work with the interviews. He has interviewed professionals, different professionals. Every week, there's someone new talking there, and that's a very good way of getting insights again of different people and what they're facing and doing. I really recommend that. There's a page on Facebook, and for academics mostly, There's the SVR, is the symposium that takes place every year as well. They go there and they discuss the academics approach in VR. It's brilliant. They've been around for many years. Okay, they are really the first ones here in Brazil. There's also me. You can contact me. So yeah, that's my company, VRXP. I appreciate the presentation, but I'm here to answer some questions. I can discuss more. I can just talk about VR all day. I'm not sure. This is an overview, but yeah, you can get in contact with me. I'm not sure if there's questions from viewers. If not, I can just go in depth in details with other topics. Okay. Let me see. Just a few things. Anima Mundi is not taking place anymore. I don't know when they're coming back. They stopped in 2019. Our government, current government, sucks. It's a really barrier for anyone in the innovation industry or culture industry. If there's someone here from São Paulo State, from the Secretary of Culture in São Paulo, I have some things I would like to share. I was, prized as someone who got the project approved, but the amount of money they provide is really, for VR, is not ideal. This is something I'm sharing, and something I want to say. There should be 50% more. I think that would be ideal for any projects. I'm not sure. I don't know if you could say that, Lau. We can say that. I really wish someone from Rio here could answer that. If there are funds from the government in Rio for VR, what's happening there? I know there are some, but I don't know how successful they are. Anyways, I wish I could really have this feedback, but feel free to contact me, and anything with VR, you can count on me. Thank you.
Olá, manas e manos.
You are invited for the next edition of Game Jam Plus.
É criar o próximo grande jogo indie.
I'd like to invite my fellow flyover states and the rest of the world to come jam with us.
Mi nombre es Brian Hernández de Cartago, Costa Rica. Patos de Minas, Minas Gerais.
Calgary, Canada.
Goiás,
São Luís.
Iran,
Liga Sul de Minas.
Portugal,
Brasília.
México,
Salvador. Maquedônia.
Uberaba, Minas Gerais.
San José, Costa Rica.
Uberlândia.
La Paz, Bolívia.
Manaus, Amazonas.
United States Midwest.
Atlanta,
Slovenia.
Engenheiro Paulo Franchim.
Game Jam Plus. O que é Game Jam Plus?
En donde desarrolladores, músicos, artistas podrán crear su propio juego con un enfoque de negocios.
Participants from all around the world come together.
É o local onde suas ideias tomam forma.
Y me complace mucho invitarlos a este gran evento.
I feel thrilled and blessed to have such an opportunity to be a part of this.
And I want you to unlock this achievement too.
Que es un evento internacional que va a tomar lugar del 8 al 10 de octubre.
from October 8th to 10th.
Entre el 8 y el 10 de octubre.
Dias 8 ao dia 10 de outubro.
This October, from the 8th to the 10th.
Dia 8 ao dia 10 de outubro.
Quiero invitarlos a formar parte de esta gran comunidad internacional.
It's going to be an incredible opportunity to make some games, meet some amazing people.
Espero haber más personas de todo el mundo participando de este gran evento.
Hope to see you there.
Participa, VR+1.
Would you be our plus one?
International plus 1. VR plus 1.
Budete mój plus 1.
Be our plus one.
VR plus 1.
VR Plus One.
Be our plus one.
Be our plus one.
VR plus one.